part here. It is me, once again, procrastinating and not making the next video in the Author 101 series. So what I thought I would do today is talk about all my favorite and least favorite romance tropes. If you are unfamiliar with what the word trope means, a trope is basically a literary device. It's a familiarity. In romance, it's usually what pushes a couple together or pushes them apart. But there's all kinds of different tropes. Really is just a common and or reoccurring thing that happens in the literary world. Unfortunately, if you look it up, the word trope is commonly synonymous with cliche. So let's get this started. Now, before I start listing all of my favorite and least favorite romantic tropes, I just want to say this. There is a lot of tropes out there, and this video is all in fun. So if I do say one that I hate and it happens to be your favorite or what you write, just know that I'm not trying to crap all over something you love or something that you do. I'm sure that some of the ones I love and some of the ones I write are people's least favorite too, and that's okay. There's a lot of tropes out there, and there's a lot of different kind of readers, and this is just my list. I would love to hear your thoughts on your favorite and least favorite tropes down in the comments below, so let's get this started. So probably one of my least favorite things in romance is when neither of the characters have a life outside of the romance. So the only scenes that we see is either them together, them thinking about each other, or them having sex. It's like, do you not have a job? Do you not have friends? Do you not have hobbies or a family? Do you ever get the mail? Like, do you go to the bathroom? Like, seriously, give me something other than just you two obsessing about the romance. I need to get invested in you as human beings to even get attached to you as a couple. And so when all that I see is the two main characters just so wrapped up in each other that they just can't stop staring at each other or stop making out or stop having sex, like, seriously, give me something more than just the romance. My next least favorite thing in romance, and this typically happens in romantic suspense, but that is when you've got this like super sassy heroine who never listens to the hero, and then she just runs off into danger because he's like, don't go over there, and she's like, I'm gonna go over there, and then the bad guy comes and gets her or whatever. It's like, can't you ever just stop being so sassy and trying to be right that maybe for a second you can listen that he's trying to keep you out of danger? I don't know why this bothers me so much, probably because it happens so much, but the overly sassy heroine who just can't listen to the hero ever, I don't know. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's funny. I'm not like rooting for her like, yeah, you go girl, run right in the arms of that dangerous person with a bomb. Yeah, no, not living for that. My next least favorite thing is billionaires. Can this stop being a thing already? I don't know. I never got into the billionaire thing. I'm not down with the billionaire thing. I think it's, as much as I like romance for an escape and for the fantasy, like, I just can't get down with billionaires. Probably because they're always just so like pompous, and I don't know, I hate their apartments. I don't know why I hate it so much. I freaking hate the billionaire thing. Let's just stop with the billionaire thing. Like, there's not that many billionaires out there, and they're probably not. Oh, and the other thing I hate about the billionaire thing, it's like they're always like going for the maid or like the girl at the coffee shop, and that's cool and all, but I don't know. It just really bugs me. The next thing that I hate in romance books, like passionately in my core hate, is the alpha hole. Now, this is not to be confused with the alpha male. Give me an alpha male. Like, seriously, give me an alpha male. Give me the alpha male. The alpha male is loyal, he's brave, he's trustworthy, he has a heart of gold, even if he really can't like talk about his feelings too much. Like, he's a man's man, he's a sexual powerhouse, he's like magnetic, like he's a good guy, but he's strong, he's a leader. The alpha hole is just this jerk. Like, I don't know when alpha males became alpha holes, and it is definitely a thing, and I hate it. Here's my problem with the alpha hole, and this is not to be confused with the bad boys. Like, give me a bad boy. Tell me more about it. The tortured hero, I'm here for you. Tell me more about this. But the alpha hole, no. The alpha hole is bossy, he's domineering, he's usually like a complete asshole to everyone, including the heroine. He is overly possessive, he is like overly jealous. Like, the woman usually can't even talk to another man, and he's like grunting like a caveman and practically throwing her over his shoulder and walking away with her. They have horrible, horrible behavior, and we are always supposed to write it off as some traumatic event that happened in his childhood, which again, not to be confused with the tortured hero, because that is a beast all on its own, and I fucking love it. The alpha hole has extremely bad behavior, and we are supposed to, like, forgive him because he had some traumatic event in his childhood, and that's not okay with me. Like, do the inner work, baby. Do the inner work. That's sexy. I can't get down with it because I would never want to date that guy. He's just full of red flags, like red flags. And it makes me question the heroine when she just puts up with him being overly jealous and overly macho and overly possessive. I don't know, it's just not cute to me. And then usually they have something insane like a 12-inch dick or something, which if you came at me with a 12-inch dick, I would run. And any girl who wouldn't run, I have a lot of questions. The next thing that I really hate in romance books is when the heroine does not have a strong girl pack, or at least like a really good friend that she can talk to. Because usually what ends up happening there is a lot of slut shaming of other women. The other women who come to the picture are always some woman who just wants to like sink her claws into the man and try and take him from her. And usually this goes along with another trope that I really, really hate. I'll get there in a second. But I don't like it when the female lead does not have at least one really good female friend, or at least like a filler for a female friend. You need that in your life. And so again, it usually goes along with slut shaming of other women, which I'm just not down with. So moving on, and this kind of goes with the last one, but I hate the heroine is not like the other girls trope. Why do I hate this so much? Because most girls are not like other girls. Usually this girl probably wears ponytails, probably wears glasses. Instead of wearing high heels all the time, she's probably wearing some Converse. Instead of wearing mini skirts, she's wearing jeans or something. And that's like a lot of girls. A lot of girls dress like that. I'm not like a super girly girl. I'm kind of a little bit of a tomboy. And so, but I would never walk around like, I'm not like the other girls. Now the reason this kind of goes with that one is because the heroine does things like wears glasses and reads books. Oh my gosh, who does that? And wears jeans instead of tight skirts and sneakers instead of, high-heeled shoes, is that usually that girl, the other girl involved in the story, is slut-shamed because she does wear the mini skirts and she wears lip gloss and does her hair and does all this stuff. And I just really hate the slut-shaming of other women in books. But again, hate the she's not like the other girls trope. It's like, really, what makes her so different? Does she have 7 heads? Does she only eat mayonnaise for breakfast? Like, what makes her so different? We're all different. I hate the she's not like the other girls trope. And next thing that I absolutely hate in romance books is the, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like Stockholm syndrome. So usually this is she's been kidnapped, or she has been like bought and sold to pay off her dad's debt, something like that, or being held hostage, something like that. I really hate it because it tends to cross a line with maybe some non-consensual kind of stuff. I've definitely seen that. But again, I also just don't find it romantic that I fall in love with the person who's holding me hostage or my kidnapper. Like, I'm just, like, how does that happen? I just hate that one so much. I read one recently. Yeah, I couldn't get down with that. And if that's your bag, more power to you. But I just really, really hate that trope. Next thing that I really hate in romance books, and it sounds like I just hate so much stuff, and I really don't. There's a lot that I love about romance books, but what I really hate is when the player gets transformed by love. Like, he has slept with every woman he's ever encountered since the age of like 13 or something, and then suddenly she comes along and she's probably not like the other girls, and they have sex, and he is ruined for all other women for the rest of his life. He never looks at another one. He never wants to have a sex with another one, which seriously, all guys and most girls, you look at other people and you at least like to decide whether or not you find them attractive. But suddenly this guy, like, you have some like vagina magic going on or something, and he's blind to any other woman but you. It's unrealistic. It's just, I hate that. I hate it so much because that would never happen ever. Even if he never slept with another woman, to say that he would never even like look at another one or find another one attractive is just ridiculous to me. I'm not here for you. The next thing that I hate in a romance book, and I both love and hate this, but I hate the miscommunication trope. I hate it when it's done a certain way. So if it's done where, I don't know, the girl goes to the mall and she sees her boyfriend at the Orange Julius with another woman and suddenly he's cheating on me. He's cheating on me. And she doesn't have any friends to talk her down and be like, were they making out at the Orange Julius? Were they doing like a Lady and the Tramp thing, like 2 straws in a cup? Like, how do you know he's cheating on you just because he was at the Orange Julius with someone else? And then she never talks to him again. And maybe he texts like once or twice and then he's like, well, I guess I lost that one. No. Even if as a girl you overreact to something that happens, usually a conversation would solve this. And you would think that the guy would at least be like banging on her door like, babe, what's going on? Why are you so mad at me? And they could like hash it out or something. The only time that I get into this trope is that if one of them is just being completely unreasonable and the other one is really trying to have that conversation, and maybe they get rebuffed, maybe they have a fight and she's still like, no, I'm right. There needs to be a conversation. If you seriously were so in love with this person, I don't know, yesterday, and then suddenly they're at the Orange Julius and they're standing there with another girl and they're cheating, you aren't at least going to be like, oh, who's the redhead? What are you doing? You're cheating on me. But instead to just ignore him and brush him off and blow him off and, move 15 states away. I don't know. They always do crazy things and then it's like months and months and months go by. But I do like this trope when it's done in that at least one of them is trying to reach out and maybe the other one is pushing, but they do end up having that conversation. I don't know. So I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but when it's done a certain way, it just drives me batshit crazy because I'm like, just have a fucking conversation already and get back to being in love. The next thing that I absolutely hate deep in my core in romance is insta romance, insta love. I hate that. I don't think it's realistic. I don't think it's fun, even for the fantasy. I'm just not down with that. When they are like having sex 30 pages in and then like, I don't know, by chapter 3, they're professing their love for each other. It's like that takes time, and I do believe in like insta lust and insta attraction, and when you're super attracted to somebody, those endorphins get going, but you're not falling in love with someone by chapter 3, which usually like in real life would be, I don't know, a week or something. Like it just doesn't happen that way. And it kind of creeps me out a little bit, and I don't think it's realistic, and I just hate that one. Now, when I am reading short stories, I do kind of expect insta love and I will let it slide, but again, it's just not my favorite thing to have happen in a book. Okay, and my next and last least favorite thing in romance books is BDSM. And I know I've talked about this before, and I'm really passionate about this, and I'm not really sure why, but there is just so many BDSM books out there, and for the most part, and again, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but I feel like so many of them are just not done right. Now, if you're someone who has been involved in the lifestyle or you know a lot about it, great, write all about it because you're probably going to write a good one and send it my way. I want to read that. But most of the BDSM romances that I've read really go against everything that BDSM is, and it's really just a book about some dude who just wants to like spank and mistreat a chick, and the girl just acting like a subservient little puppy dog. In BDSM, there are 2 acronyms that must be followed at all times, and that is SCC, which is safe, sane, and consensual, and the next one is RAC, which is risk-aware consensual kink. And most of the time, what I find with these badly written BDSM books by people who just have a fantasy about BDSM and who have never been involved in the lifestyle or even known somebody who is involved in the lifestyle, most of what they're doing is not safe, and it is definitely not risk-aware. Just, they're doing all these bondage scenes, and they're doing all these, whippings and things, and there are ways that you have to do these things in order to protect the sub who is taking the punishment that you're doling out. Also, most doms will tell you what you're being punished for and not just treat you like a piece of shit all the time, because that's your fucking kink. And if that's your kink, that's cool, but then that needs to be discussed at the beginning of the book, that you are allowing the person who is dominating you to treat you like that because that is your kink. All these things need to be discussed. I rarely find a BDSM book that has a realistic scene negotiation, because even usually sex in a BDSM scene has to be negotiated, and it is not a given that you're going to have sex with the person who's dominating you or doing any of the play acts, and that needs to be talked about. And then most of the time in the BDSM books that I read, the boundaries are being pushed and not being talked about after. And then there is such a thing as proper aftercare. Anybody who's done anything in the lifestyle knows that sub drop is a very real thing, and these doms in these books are not giving the proper aftercare. And the truth is that doms also experience a drop and they need proper aftercare. So again, these things need to be talked about beforehand and then executed afterwards. And somebody prove me wrong, find me a really well written BDSM book. I'm here for it. I will happily read it. But most of the time I find that it is not written in such a way that if someone maybe was fantasizing about these things and then took it to a partner to do with them, they're not doing it right, and they're not doing it in a way that is safe. It just really bothers me. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. It just really bothers me. Let's talk about all the things that I love in a good romance book. My first and super favorite is second chance romance. And I know that this is a lot of people's hated trope. I love a good second chance romance. What I love is I love picking at those old wounds. I love reopening the damage and all the emotions. There's already so much emotion there, and it is so fun to play with that should I or shouldn't I, that hate-love kind of thing, talking about the past, healing from the past. It is just one of my absolute all-time favorites. Second chance romance, I am all about it. Give it to me all day, every day. I love it. The next romance trope that I absolutely love, and again is a lot of people's hard pass, and that is love triangles. I love a good love triangle because I love the angst of trying to choose and which one is the better match. Now, I always do feel really bad for the one who didn't get picked, or however that goes down, but I live for a good love triangle. In fact, I'm like just complete trash for a love triangle. I love it so much. Next trope that I am absolute trash for, I love the stepbrother romance. I love the forbiddenness of it, like the taboo of it. I don't know why. I just love that one. I don't even want to talk about it anymore other than to say, like, I just love the stepbrother trope. Yeah. Okay. Now, this trope, again, is another one of my favorites, is that I love the tortured hero. I love me a good tortured hero. Give me all your damaged men. Come to me. I will make you better. I love the tortured hero. What I love about the tortured hero is that maybe sometimes he has really, off-putting behaviors, but they're usually all coping mechanisms because he doesn't feel like he deserves the love that the heroine is giving to him. And eventually those walls come down and he realizes that he is worthy of love. That is what I love about a tortured hero. Again, I do think that this is different from the alpha hole because, one, he's just not like a dick to everybody. He really definitely just has some walls up. He can't be accepting of love. Maybe he is a little bit of a player, but that's just because he can't settle down. I don't know. Again, I feel like I contradict myself a little bit with these tropes, but I think anybody who reads romance knows that there is a difference between the tortured, damaged hero and just the alpha hole. The next thing on top of that is a bad boy. Please give me all the bad boys. I love me a good bad boy romance. And I think the reason that I love the bad boy romance is because there's a little bit of danger and there's a little bit of mystery with the bad boys. Again, they usually have a kind of tragic backstory, which is, something pretty common and cliche. I know I've written it myself, but I'm absolute trash for a good bad boy romance. Give me a rock star. Give me the motorcycle guy. The tortured sports romance. Give it to me now. I will gobble them up. I will eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love bad boys. Except not in real life because they usually break your heart. Now, one thing I love is a good slow burn romance. I love the build-up. I love how long it takes for the characters to get together and profess their love or even realize that they are in love. And one of the things that I really love with a good slow burn is the friends to lovers, where they're really good friends and maybe they just have this kind of slow epiphany that they really love this person. And then it's kind of like, how do we transition from friends to lovers? You know, is this going to ruin the friendship? I don't know. I love both of those tropes when they're done well together, but give me a good slow burn romance, something where maybe they're not even having sex for a while and the kiss takes, you know, until halfway into the book or even longer. I love that because I'm just dying the whole time like, oh my God, just take off your shirts and make out already. I love a good slow burn because I'm just dying, flipping pages, waiting to get to that big moment. Next romantic trope that I love is office romance, and again, because it's got a little bit of that taste of the forbidden where they shouldn't be dating because usually one of them is the boss and one of them is the employee, and there's that whole, you know, power struggle. It's just so yummy and delicious. All the secret flirting when nobody can see, or maybe secret notes tucked into pockets. I don't know. I live for a good office romance. I definitely love anything that is like a forbidden romance where we shouldn't be doing this, but we just can't stop ourselves. Like, we have to do this. I live for that. Next favorite romance trope is the return to the hometown. Again, usually it's someone who went off to become very successful and they have to come back with their tail tucked between their legs. There is just so much character development to be happening there because usually it's not a good reason that they're coming back. Maybe they didn't make their dreams happen, or maybe they're coming back for a sick family member or something. But again, that just gets so much like yummy, delicious angst. I live for that so hard. I love the return to the hometown. Usually when it's combined with a small town, I am complete trash for a small town romance. I love those. So again, anything where like the hero or heroine has to return to their hometown. I love it when they have their tail tucked between their legs and they have to kind of maybe come back and make some amends to people. I love that. It's just one of my absolute favorite things. My next favorite romance trope is the brother's best friend. Again, it's got a little bit of a taste of the forbidden. Brother usually is very protective of the little sister and doesn't want the guy that he knows so well and knows how he talks about girls and knows about all of his conquests, you know, being with his little sister. And it can get really angsty and fun and all the forbiddenness and all the secrets and the hiding out. I love that. Next romantic trope that I absolutely love, and it is so cliche, it is so cheesy Hallmark Christmas movie romance, but give me people trapped in the blizzard. Sold. Love the trapped romance, whether they're trapped in a blizzard or trapped because of some kind of a storm or a fire or, I don't know, even on an elevator. I don't care where you are, if you are trapped together and you cannot escape and you have to be around this person, all that like sexual tension builds up and I don't know, you're creating body heat together. I don't know what it is. I know it's so super cliche. I just freaking love a good trapped romance. Call me trash. I don't care. I love it all day, every day. And then the last romantic trope that I'm just an absolute sucker for is the one night fling that turns into something else. And usually that goes along with my love of the trapped romance, but I absolutely love it when the two characters, they aren't out looking for love, which again is a huge cliche in romance. They're never looking for love. I love it when they're not looking for love. Maybe they go out and they have a drink or two and they wind up making out or going back to someone's house and having sex, and they think they're never going to see each other again. And then something happens and they bump into each other, or maybe it's the landlord or something. We've all read romance, we all know how this works, but usually there's something where they bump into them the next day and it's like their boss or their landlord or I don't know, their brand new neighbor or something, so they're forced to see them every single day. And you know, there's flashbacks to that night or maybe some embarrassment about that night, and then they can't fight the attraction. You throw in a little bit of hate to love in there, and yes, I'm all about you. I am one clicking that book so hard that I can't even stand it and leaving you 5 stars. I love that trope. This is probably not an all-inclusive list of everything that I love and hate, but there are so many tropes out there. These are just the first ones that came to mind when I was making my list. Again, I would love to hear what you think about your favorite romance books or your least favorite romance books down in the comments. Let's have some fun with this. I really hope you liked today's video, and I will try not to be so lazy, and I will get back to the Author 101. But I've been having a lot more fun with these just kind of like chatty videos. It seems like other people really like the chatty videos, so let me know what you think. But I will be getting back to that series very soon. Until then, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and I'll be back next week with more bookish fun.